day teachers and good day students. Hello and welcome to our second webinar discussing the teacher as professional and its legal basis. I am Sheena Rosay Kahintong, your host for today's program. But before we start our program, let us ask first the guidance of our Almighty Father.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who are present here today, that each one of us may be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We all ask of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang putok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magtitindig. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Alright, good morning once again. Without further ado, let our four speakers. Please help me welcome our first speaker, Mr. John Mark Dura. Our second speaker, Ms. Sheena Rose Kahintong. Our third speaker, Ms. Marish Villarva. And our fourth speaker, Mr. Jordel Hordao. A good education can change anyone. A good teacher can change everything. So without further ado, please help me welcome our first speaker for the broad discussion of the teacher as a professional, Mr. John Mark Dura.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sheena, for your wonderful introduction. So, the teacher as a professional. So, the teaching of profession, we have three laws. First is the Presidential Decree number 1006. Second is the Republic Act number 7836. And third is Republic Act number 9293. Okay, next, so, Presidential Decree number 1006 is providing for the professionalization of teachers, regulating their practice, Philippines for other purposes. So, it is an executive order issued in 1977 by the late President Ferdinand A. Marcos that provides for the professionalization of teachers. It is regulating practice in the Philippines and for other purposes. So, the objective of these laws is compare the PD 106 and RA 7836 laws as well as professional training. Okay, so on January 1, 1997, the President Marcos declared a PD 1006 entitled Providing for the Professionalization of Teachers, Regulating Their Practice in the Philippines. So, this is the belong with these laws. First is the institution of the country have relied upon the teachers whose direct and continuing interactions with the young people and the children. Second is the tremendous growth of the teaching population. Third is to ensure that in the immediately and urgency the teachers recruitments qualitative requirements are not overlooked. Fourth is the teaching requires number of years collegiate study. It is the only course that is not yet considered as a professionals. And lastly is the recognition or the recognizing the vital role of the teachers, nation in building insensitive to their moral values. Okay, so Republic Act number 7836, we have 4 sections. First is the short title. Second is the statement of the policy. Third is the objective. Fourth is the definition of term. So as you can see here, we have 4 definition of terms. We have a teaching, teachers, boards, and the commissions. So as you can see, on section 1, section 2, section 3, and the section 4. Okay, so the Republic Act number 7836, we have a 3. We have a 3 articles. So first is a board for professional teachers. Second is the examination and registration. And fourth, we have provision and relatives to the practice of the teaching of the professions. So I think that's all for the PD 1006 and the Republic Act number 7836.
Thank you for that very helpful and informative discussion, Mr. Dora. So in the continuation of the discussion, and also in the next topic, which is professional ethics and code of conduct for professional teachers, let's have our second speaker, Ms. Sheena Rose Kahintong. Okay, thank you. So in continuation, Republic Act 9293 and Act amending certain section of Republic Act 7836, otherwise known as the Philippine Teacher Professionalization Act of 1994. So Section 1, Section 15 of Republic Act number 7836 is hereby amended as follows. So Section 15, qualification requirements of applicants. A graduate of a school, college, or university recognized by the government and possesses the minimum educational qualification as follows. First, for teachers in preschool, a bachelor's degree in early childhood education. Second, for teachers in secondary grades, a bachelor's degree in elementary education or BSEE-Ed. Third, for teachers in the secondary grades, a bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with the major and minor, or a bachelor degree in arts and sciences with at least 18 units in professional education. And fourth, for teachers of educational and two-year technical courses, a bachelor's degree in the field of specialization or its equivalent with at least 18 units in professional education. So in Section 2, Section 26 of the same Act is hereby amended as to read as follows. So in Section 26, registration and reception. Upon approval of the application and payment of the prescribed fees, the certificate of registration and professional license as a professional teacher shall be issued without examination as required in this act to qualified applicant who is a holder of a certificate of eligibility as a teacher issued by Civil Service Commission and the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports. Second, a registered professional teacher with the National Board for Teachers under the Department of Education, Culture, and Sports, pursuant Presidential Decree number 1006. So in Section 3, Section 31 of the same Act is hereby amended to read as follows. Section 31, transitory provision. Special permits with a validity of 3 and 5 years issued to para-teacher by the Board for Professional Teachers before the effectively of this act shall be allowed to expire based on the period granted therein. Provided that only special permits with a validity of 3 years may be renewed upon expiration for a non-extendable period of 2 years. And now let's go to the topic 2, which is the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. So the Code of Ethics for professional teachers describes how a teacher conduct themselves inside and outside of the classroom, as well as how they able to deal with situations related to the teaching profession. So we have here preamble, which is very important for us teachers. So let me read it. Teachers are duly licensed professionals who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values, as well as technical and professional competence. In the practice of their noble profession, they strictly adhere to, observe, and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. So in Article 1, Scope and Limitation, what it is. What is it? So, in Section 1, it stated that the Philippines Constitution provides that all educational institutions shall offer a good quality of education for all Filipino citizens, a vision that requires professionally competent and teachers committed to is fully realization. So, in Article 2, the teacher and the state. So, what is it? So in Section 1, according to the Section 1, the school are the nurseries for citizen of the state. According to Section 2, every teacher or school shall actively help carry out the declared policies of the state and shall take an oath to this effect. So, in Article 3, the teacher and the community. So, according to Section 2, every teacher shall provide leadership initiative to actively participate in community movements for moral, social, educational, economic, and civic betterment. So, in Article 4, the teacher and the profession. According to the Section 1, every teacher shall actively help ensure that teaching is the noblest possession and shall not manifest genuine enthusiasm and pride teaching as a noble calling. So, according to Section 3, under Article 4, every teacher shall participate in the Continuing Professional Education or CPE program of the Professional Regulation Communication. So, in Article 5, the teacher and the teaching community. So, according to the Section 2, a teacher is not entitled to claim for work not of his own and shall give the due credit for work of others which he may use. So, in Article 6, the teacher and the higher authorities in the Philippines. According to the Section 1 under Article 6, a teacher shall make it his duty to make an honest effort to understand and support the legitimate policies of the school and the administration regardless of professional feeling of private opinion and shall faithfully carry them out. So in Article 7, school officials, teachers, and other personnel, according to the Section 2, school officials, teachers, and other school personnel shall consider it their cooperative responsibility to formulate policies or introduce important changes in the system at all levels. In Article 8 naman, the teacher and the learners, according to the Section 2, remember Section 2, a teacher shall recognize that the interest and welfare of learners at his first and foremost concern and shall handle each learner justly and impartially. So in Article 9, the teacher and parents, according to the Section 1, a teacher shall establish and maintain cordial relations with parents and shall conduct himself to merit their confidence and respect. In Section 3, it stated that a teacher shall hear parents' complaints with sympathy and understanding and shall discourage unfair criticism. So in Article 10, the teacher and the business. So what is it? How about this? So in Section 1, it stated, according to the Section 1, a teacher has a right to engage directly or indirectly in legitimate income generation provided that it does not relate to or adversely affect his work. So in Article 11, the teacher as a person. So this is my favorite part as a teacher. So according to the Section 2, a teacher shall place premium upon self-respect and self-discipline as a principal behavior in all relationships with others and in all situations. In Section 1, under Article 11, the teacher as a person, a teacher shall live with dignity in all places at all times. So that's it for the Code of Ethics of a Professional Teacher. And now, before we proceed to the third speaker, to all the viewers there, you can drop your questions in the comment section because we will going to address that later on. So, without further ado, our next topic will be discussed to us by Miss Marish Villarba.
So thank you. Now let us proceed to the lesson 3, which is the Republic Act 6713, Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Employees. These are the norms of conduct of public officials and employees. So every public officials and employee shall observe the following as a standard of personal conduct in the discharge and execution of official duties. So the first one, we have commitment to the public interest. Public officials and employees shall always uphold the public interest over and above personal interest. The second one, we have professionalism. So public officials and employees shall perform and discharge their duties with the highest degree of excellence, professionalism, intelligence, and skills. So the next one, we have justness and sincerity. Public officials and employees shall remain true to the people at all times. They must act justness and sincerity. The next one, we have political neutrality. So public officials and employees shall provide service to everyone without unfair discrimination and regardless of party affiliation or preference. The next one, we have responsiveness to the public. So public officials and employees shall extend prompt, courteous, and adequate service to the public. And now let us proceed to nationalism and patriotism. So public officials and employees shall at all times be loyal to the Republic and to the Filipino people. The next one, we have commitment to democracy. Public officials and employees shall commit themselves to the democratic way of lives and values, maintain the principle of public accountability, and manifest by deeds the supremacy of civilian authority over the military. So the last one, we have simple living. Public officials and employees and their families shall lead modest lives appropriate to their position and income. So in general, public officials and employees shall at all times be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public interest over personal interest. So now let's move on to the lesson 4, which is the Republic Act 4670, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, was passed into the law in view of providing professional rights and safeguards to our public school teachers in consideration of the exigency and level of difficulty of the exercise of their professions. So these are the teachers' welfare and privileges. So the section number 8, it's all about safeguard and disciplinary procedure, the right to be informed in writing of charges, the right to full access to the evidence in the case, the right to defend himself and to be defended by a representative of his choice or by his organization, the right to appeal to clearly designate authorities. No publicity shall be given to any disciplinary action being taken against a teacher during the pendency of his case. In Section 10, no discrimination. There shall be no discrimination whatsoever in entrance to teaching professions or during its exercise or in determination of services based on other than professional consideration. Next one, we have Section 12, academic freedom. Teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regard to teaching and classroom methods. And Section 13, teaching hours. Any teachers engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day, which shall be so scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction of exercise and other work accidental to his normal teaching duties. In Section 17, equality in the salary scales. The salary scales of teachers whose salaries are appropriated by a city, municipal district, or provincial government shall not be less than more provided for teachers of the national government. In Section 22, medical examination and treatment. Compulsory medical examination shall be provided free to charge for all teachers before they take up teaching, and shall be repeated not less than once a year during the teacher's professional life. And Section 26, salary increase upon retirement. Public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirements of the applicable retirement laws shall be given one rate salary raise upon retirement, which shall be basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and the monthly benefits thereafter. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Villarva, for that very informative discussion. And for the last topic that will be discussed to us by Mr. Jordel Hordao.
Thank you for your warm welcome, Miss Sheena. Okay, so Batas Pambansa Bilang 232 or the Education Act of 1982, this was an act providing for the establishment and maintenance of an integrated system of education. In accordance with Section 2, this act shall apply to and govern both formal and non-formal system in public and private schools in all levels of the entire educational system. As provided by this Act, the national development goals are as follows. Number 1, to achieve and maintain an accelerating rate of economic development and social progress. Number 2, to assure the maximum participation of all people in the attainment and enjoyment of the benefits of such growth. And number 3, to achieve and strengthen national unity and consciousness and preserve, develop, and promote desirable cultural, moral, spiritual values in changing world. It is also stated in Section 3 that the state shall promote the right of every individual to relevant quality education regardless of sex, age, creed, socio-economic status, physical and mental conditions, racial or ethnic origin, political or other affiliation. The state shall therefore promote and maintain equality of access to education as well as the benefits of education by all its citizens. Special rights and/or privileges of teaching or academic staff. Under the Section 11, we have the right to be free compulsory assignment not related to their duties defined in their appointment or employment contracts unless compensated thereof. Additional compensation, Section 14, RA 4670 at least 25% of his regular remuneration. Number 2, right to intellectual property. Number 3, teachers are persons in authority when in lawful discharge of duties and responsibilities shall therefore be accorded due respect and protection according to Commonwealth Act number 578. And number 4, teachers shall be given opportunity to choose career alternatives for advancements. The Commonwealth Act number 578 on June 8, 1940, otherwise known as an act to amend Article 152 of the revised Penal Code so as to include teachers, professors, and persons charged with the supervision of public or duly recognized private schools, colleges, and universities within the term persons in authority. So in Section 1, Article 152 of Act number 3815, known as the Revised Penal Code, is amended to read as follows. So ART 152, persons in authority who shall be deemed as such in applying the provisions of the preceding and other articles of this code. Any persons directly vested with jurisdiction, whether as an individual or as a member of some court of governmental corporation, board, or commission. In applying the provisions of Articles 148 and 151 of this code, teachers, professors, and persons charged with the supervision of public or duly recognized private schools, colleges, and universities shall be deemed a person in authority. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much. Miss Sheena, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hordao, and to all our teachers who gave their wisdom and shared to us their knowledge for our future educators. At this juncture, let me hear your thoughts, my dear students. As what I have said earlier, I will be reading all the questions that were raised by the students. So the first question is for Mr. Hordao. Some student ask, what is the importance of an act to amend Article 152?
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Sheena. And to address your question is how important is the ART 152? Okay, so it is relevant due to the fact that teachers, professors, and persons in charge has the rights to control the environment where they manage it and have an organized and peaceful setting.
Thank you, Mr. Hordao. So the second question is for Miss Villarva. He asked that what are the importance of code of conduct for public officials and employees?
An act establishing a code of conduct and ethical standards for public officials and employees to uphold the time-honored principles of public office being a trust or being a public's trust, granting incentives and rewards for exemplary service, enumerating prohibited acts and transactions, and providing penalties for violation thereof and for other purposes.
Thank you, Miss Villarva. And for our third question is for Miss Kahintong. So, someone asked, how can you say po na teacher is a nation builder? Okay. Always remember that teacher is a nation builder. We teachers are the one who mold every pieces of yourself in order to meet what society demand by our perseverance, love, and sacrifices to all. Our dear students, it's our responsibility to perform our duty. Yes, it's true. We teachers, we need to know what are those qualifications of a professional teacher before proceeding to the next level. And of course, we shouldn't forget our professional ethics and good conduct. Because we teachers, we need to set ourselves as a good example to our students. Thank you once again, Miss Kahimtong. Okay, no more question na ba? So, if wala na, alright, that ends our webinar for today. Thank you again, Ms. Villarva, Ms. Kahimtong, Mr. Hordao, and Mr. Dora for answering those questions and for the great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you for attending, and we hope you have learned and enjoyed these presentations. Have a great day.